Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to give you my thriller and murder mystery book recommendations. I thought this would be a fitting video since it's October. It's of course the Halloween season and thrillers and murder mysteries are very suitable for that. Also, I did a similar video about 2 or 3 years ago, can't really remember, a couple of years ago, and I thought it was time for an update. And that is exactly what is going to happen in this video. So I have a couple of books that I've read in the past couple of years that I would very much like to recommend to read if you are feeling like reading a thriller or a murder mystery, or I guess something tension filled, something exciting, I don't know. I will add that these are definitely thrillers and murder mysteries and not horror books. I'm not really a fan of horror as a genre on its own, although I have to admit that I have not read a lot of horror books, to be honest. But I am a massive fan of thrillers and suspension books and everything that keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And if you have clicked on this video, I am assuming that you like those kind of books as well, or maybe you are new and you want some recommendations to start with. Well, hopefully I can provide those for you because I have a list of books that I'm very excited to talk about that I think will be so suitable for this season. Not only this season, of course, the entire year around, whatever you want. But anyway, I'm going to talk about them, my recommendations for thrillers, and I really hope you will enjoy it. I'm going to start with the book that I finished only last week, and that is No Exit by Taylor Adams. I think among thriller books, this one is relatively well known because when I was looking up my own recommendations for thrillers, this one popped up multiple times. Now that I have read it myself, I can most definitely say that yes, this is a recommendation because this is a book that was very suspenseful and extremely tension-filled. No Exit is about a girl named Darby who is on the road. She's on her way to visit her dying mother when she gets caught in a snowstorm in a blizzard. And she is stranded at this rest stop with no reception, no way to contact anybody whatsoever, which is bad enough on its own, but then she also sees that one of the cars at the rest stop actually contains a little girl in a cage. So now she is stranded with 4 strangers and one of them is a kidnapper, and Darby has to figure out how to save this child with no way to contact security whatsoever, which leads to a very tension-filled night, to say the least. This book was so much fun. I think you can probably understand what I mean when I say fun. Like, I don't like kidnappings or horrible things, but this book was so much fun when it comes to a book. It was definitely a page turner. The thing with this book is it's not really that much about the mystery or like who did it, because you get to know that relatively soon. It's more about what happens next, what is going on, what do you do when you're in a situation that is so dangerous but with no way to contact anybody, with no civilization anywhere nearby. How do you escape that? How do you stay on top of everything? And this book is just, it is very action-packed. It is very, things are happening constantly. It is not a slow book whatsoever. It's very quick. There are things going on all the time and you feel for Darby so much. And it really made me think, like, if I were in this situation, what would I do? Like, certain things I probably would not have done, but I don't think that this book is really meant to be like an example of how to deal with a situation like that. But that does not matter to me because this book is fun. It is such an entertaining read and it's exciting. That is exactly what I wanted from it and that is exactly what I got. Yeah, that is my recommendation if you want to read a book like that. I would also say that it's very easy to get into, and that if you maybe are not that experienced with thrillers yet, then this could be a very good book to begin with. Another book I'd like to recommend is TheOne by John Marrs, and this is a book that is all about the concept of scientists having found a certain gene that tells you who on the earth is your perfect love match, and they transferred this into a test on a website that is called TheOne. So if you do this test, you can find out who is the one for you because it is scientifically proven that this person is perfect for you in every way. This book then follows 5 different people who have recently taken the test or have recently gotten a result of the test. And it shows how, even though in theory this concept sounds like it is perfect, like who wouldn't want that, just finding out who is perfect for you without having to look, having to date, all that trouble. But in reality, it actually provides a lot of problems because the one for you might not be single, they might not be close nearby you, they might be on the other side of the world, they might not be the same age as you. To summarize, this book is about that. It follows these people and it tells you about how not everything is as perfect as it seems. And I would say that this one, it is a thriller kind of, but it's a very light thriller. I wouldn't say that it's very suspension filled. It's not very like scary. There's not really, yeah, it's hard to say, to be honest. It also kind of depends on the different perspectives, because there are different perspectives. Some of them are more thriller based than others. There are some mysteries, there are some secrets. There are also some more, I guess, bloody aspects to it. And that is really all I want to say about how the premise is, because I feel like this book is definitely something that you should just pick up and see for yourself. I thought, again, this was a very entertaining book, also a very quick book, and that it really made you think about how situations would be if this were reality. Like, would you take the test? Would you trust it? Is it something that you would want? How would you deal with these problems and these circumstances? I love the writing, I love the execution of the premise. Of course, with the perspectives, there were some that I enjoyed more than others, but overall I would say that the book did a pretty great job of making you interested in all of those stories. But it's a very fun thriller, and again I would say that this one is quite good for beginners because it is not that intense or long. I don't know, hard to explain, but I would say it's good for beginners. Another book that is a very good thriller is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, and this is one that I've listened to on audiobook. So this is one of those books that tells you how it ends at the beginning, because it starts out with a woman named Rowan who is imprisoned and who is on trial of the murder of a young girl. She's accused of that, even though she maintains that she is innocent. And then the book goes back to the beginning, how Rowan got the position of a live-in nanny of a very wealthy family with a house that is extremely technological. Like, it is a smart house, everything is being done with controls, and like there are no true locks, there are only digital locks, except for a couple of interesting rooms, and things might not be as perfect as they seem. Throughout the book you learn more about the family, about Rowan herself, about what happened and how it happened. And this is one of those books where you really are working towards the ending in a very suspenseful way. I love The Turn of the Key. It was, again, so entertaining. I think that is just my go-to feeling when it comes to thrillers. Like, I want to be entertained. I also really like the concept of knowing that somebody will die, but you don't know how it's going to happen, but you do know how horribly wrong things are going to go in a very short amount of time. I guess in general it is kind of an average thriller when it comes to that premise. You know, something goes wrong at the end, but you're working towards it. Things go wrong, the main character thinks that she might be paranoid, but as a reader you know that she's probably not. I mostly think that this one in particular is just very well executed. I like the writing, I like the characters, I like the pace of it. And I think if you are looking for this average kind of thriller, then this is one that is very well executed, and that is just what I want when I want to read a thriller. Next up is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, and this is another one that I listened to on audiobook. I will say that the audiobooks for this one and also The Turn of the Key were very enjoyable. The Family Upstairs is about Libby, who is 25 years old, and now that she is 25, she finds out who her birth parents were and where she came from, because she was originally adopted as a 10-month-old baby. It turns out that her birth parents were linked to this very fancy house in London in a very expensive neighborhood. And it also turns out that this history of this house and where Libby came from are a lot more interesting than she might have originally thought. Then this book also has flashbacks in between about the house, about the story unfolding that eventually leads to Libby being there alone as a 10-month-old baby. Kind of a weird way to describe it, I guess. This book is again one that I think you should probably just read to find out how it really happens, what is going on. But yeah, another book that I've enjoyed immensely, especially the flashbacks. I loved finding out what happened to the house, and of course you know that some things are going to go wrong, and it actually was a lot more horrific than I had originally anticipated. So that was nice in a thriller way, not really nice for those characters, I guess. The present day parts were also interesting, at some bits, but I was really there for the flashbacks because I thought those were so well executed. And overall, Lisa Jewell, I think, is a very good thriller writer because I also very much enjoyed one of her other books, Then She Was Gone. But I talked about that one in my previous video for thriller recommendations, so I'm not going to talk about that one right now. But I just think that Lisa Jewell in general is a good author when it comes to those kinds of novels. So The Family Upstairs, lots of fun again. I just have a lot of fun when I read thrillers, even though I know you should probably be more, not really scared, but more, I don't know, horrified. And I am horrified with what happened, but also I'm horrified and then I'm entertained with that as well. So what that says about me, I don't really know. Then I have a recommendation that you might know about because it's a bit of an older one and it's quite a famous one, and that is Misery by Stephen King. This is the only Stephen King book that I've ever read, but it's one that I've very much enjoyed. This book follows an author named Paul Sheldon who has written the Misery series, which is very popular, but now in his latest book, he has decided to kill her off so he can quit the Misery series and write something else. However, on his way to deliver the manuscript, he gets in a car accident and he gets rescued by this woman named Annie Wilkes. Annie is the biggest Misery fan ever, and when she discovers that Misery is going to die in the new book, she is not happy, to say the least. This book is intense. It is definitely very much a thriller. Like, it's the ultimate thriller in my opinion, because you know, you get so many of the creepy vibes from this Annie Wilkes, and you know that you are in a very horrible situation as Paul, and you're just, oh my god, what is going to happen? How are we going to fix this? Oh, it is, although it's so good. It was actually a lot better than I had anticipated when I first picked it up, because I was not really sure. And I just really loved the way this story was told. Again, it is very suspenseful. It is definitely a page turner. Some bits might be a bit longer than other bits. I don't think it is like very quick paced all of the time, but some of the time. Weird, I don't know. But there were definitely moments that made my skin crawl, and there were definitely moments that I just was not sure what to do with myself. It is a good book. It is definitely something interesting, and I think this one is famous and well known for a reason. I would very much recommend it if you are looking for a good thriller. Yeah, I definitely had an interesting time reading this. And then for my last recommendation, I feel like this video would not be complete without at least one Karen Slaughter book. So I would also like to recommend False Witness by Karen Slaughter, which is her latest release. Again, I have talked about Karen Slaughter before. I've recommended another book by her, The Good Daughter, a lot before, which I still do because it's a very good one, but I've talked about that one multiple times, so let's talk about something else. False Witness is about two sisters named Kelly and Lee who 20 years ago did something very horrible, and now in present day this act is coming back to haunt them. Again, a very basic premise, definitely a premise that many thrillers have had before. I just think it's very well executed. What I like about this one mostly is that Karen Slaughter books, they usually are very graphic and very horrible, and this one of course still is that, but it's a little bit more toned down in when it comes to like murder and bloody things that are happening, at least with the descriptions of them. Don't get me wrong, there are still horrible things in here, very graphically detailed, but I just think it's a bit more, I guess, accessible if you want to start with Karen Slaughter. I think also because the book is more psychological and more about something that happened a long time ago and how are we going to deal with this, and not really in the spur of the moment, oh my god, somebody has been murdered, what are we going to do right now? And that is why I want to recommend this again if you are a bit of a beginner and if you don't know where to start with Karen Slaughter. Of course, you can start with her first book that she ever published. You can start with another one of her standalones. I think this one is probably one that will ease you into her writing and her storytelling a bit more if you're interested. So that is why I would like to recommend this done as well. Overall, I think Karen Slaughter is just a good writer. I mean, there's a reason why she has written so many books that are all so popular, and there are definitely very interesting thrillers. I will be honest, I don't think False Witness is her best book ever. I don't think it stands out in any way. As I said before, it is quite a basic premise, but I do think that it's a very solid book and a very good one for beginners. But also, if you're into something a bit more intense, again, The Good Daughter, also Pretty Girls, also a very good one. But yeah, Karen Slaughter is definitely the queen of thriller writing. Those were all of my thriller book recommendations, and I do hope they were helpful to you and that you now maybe have one that you can add to your TBR and that you want to read. Always, that is something that I very much enjoy hearing, so let me know if that is the case. Also, if you want to leave a comment, let me know some of your favorite thrillers, because I can always use more recommendations. I love a good thriller every once in a while. Yeah, so please let me know in the comments if you want to. If you like this video, you can always subscribe and see more of my videos, or you can give this one a like or share it or whatever. As always, I would really appreciate all the support. And then hopefully I will see you again very soon in one of my next videos. And until then, bye!